Hey everybody, welcome to Fishing Planet. My name is the lady, and today I'm going to show you guys how to catch these type of fish. It's the freshwater drum, and you can find them in Missouri. This is the single last fit that I'm going to do about the fish in Missouri, because I've covered them all by now, except for the alligator gar. But right now we're level 10, so we're not going after those monsters just yet. But keep in touch, and we'll get there eventually. But today it's a freshwater drum, and it's this fish. It looks a bit like the smallmouth buffalo that you can catch in Texas. It's a nice silvery white kind of color. This one that I just got is 1.3 kilograms. It's 41 centimeters, and it gives us 23 experience, and we're going to keep it. Now, first off, I'd like to show you guys where we are, because this spec is not on the map. If you look here, we have Last Songs of Summer. Oh, Last Songs of Summer, and then over here we have Pike Challenge. And the pack that we're after is sitting here. Now, to reach it, you can either go to Last Songs or to Pike, because you can walk towards it. So I'll show you guys. Let's go to Last Songs. So here we are at Last Songs, and what you do is you turn around like so, and you follow this path. You take a left turn, and now we get an intersection, and we take another left turn, and this is the spot for the freshwater drum. As you guys can see here to our right, we have the dead trees that we aim for when we're after pike, either from Last Songs or from Pike Challenge. And then if you look over there, it's where the canoes or the kayaks are on Catfish Heaven. And then Last Songs is about over there. So this is where you have to be for the freshwater drum. And there are two setups that I use. You can you can catch them both on lures as well as on float fishing. Now the area that you need to aim for is here, where these patch of reeds start, and all the way up to here where the patch of reeds end, and then here in the middle you have this dead log sitting. So that's the width of the area that they're in, and they are between 22 meters and up to about 13 meters. Now we can cast much further. So here it's about 32 meters out. But if we were to cast this far, this is also where the bass live. So instead of hooking a freshwater drum, you would hook a bass. And if we go over here between say 13 meters and 3, this is where there's also pike. So that's something that you need to be aware of. Now I'm going to show you guys my setup first for float fishing, which is this one. So right now I have just a 190 with a low depth 1000S. And this one has a line weight of 5.2 kilograms. This one has a max of 3.0 kilograms. I'm using a braid 0.50 millimeters, which has a test of 2.7 kilograms. And then I'm using casting spoon number 1, the golden one. Today I'm using gold because it's a sunny day. But you can also use a 1.0. I did try with 2.0. With the casting spoon, this one, but it didn't work. I only caught a bass with it. So but this is what your setup should be for spin casting. And if you were to use a spinning rod instead of a casting rod, here you can see the difference. It has 2 handles instead of 1. Then you could go with a setup like this, value speed 230. With a line weight of 3.5 kilograms, a Callisto XS 1400, which has a max drag of 2.4 kilograms. And on this setup I'm using a braided 0.12 millimeter line, which has a test of 1.8 kilograms, but this one costs gold. You could also go with a mono 0.2 millimeters, 1.8 kilograms, also of test, and that one would do the trick as well. So first off, I'm going to show you guys with this. So what you need to do is I have drag set on nearly max. Only one pie chart is not colored out yet, and I aim say about here, which would let me on about 25-26 meters, I think. Yeah, 25 meters. And what I do then is I hold the left mouse button for a second, I release, and I wait for a second. Now, a smallmouth buffalo, not smallmouth buffalo, the freshwater drum, it takes a time to actually bite on the lure. So that's why it's very important that you wait a second, the moment that your lure hits the bottom again, before you reel it in once more. So just like so, take it slowly. And if your setup reels in too much line, more than 2 meters per turn, adjust your reel speed to 2. Like right now I have it on 3. But adjust it to 2 so that you give the fish some time to send out a nibble or a bite. So now we're at 14 meters. And now we're on 12, and now I'm fasting the reel speed because we're out of the freshwater drum area, and I'm not interested right now in can shoot pike. Now, if you don't mind, you can cast all the way towards the reeds to have a chance on. Let's reel it in just a little bit, like so. To have a chance on bass, and then of course when you reach the 12 meter mark, keep on using the stop and go to have a chance on pike. Now in the odd occasion you also have a chance on catching white crappie and bluegills, because they sit here as well. And especially when we're going lure fishing or float fishing, sorry, you'll see what happens. Because I've already caught a couple of fish that I'll show you guys in a second. So, but this is how you use it with lures. The lures that work right now have the spoon number 1. As I said, you can also use the 1.0. Spinners work as well, 1.0, and medium spoons work, and also shads. They work as well. So, but let's go to the float setup, which is over here. It's what I'm using is OmniFloat 450, which has a line weight of 3.5 kilograms. Then I'm using a Callisto XSR 1400, which has a max drag of 1.85 kilograms, and then the Mono 0.2 millimeter line, which has a test of 1.8 kilograms. Now these fish, they can, the common ones, they go to up to 1.7 kilograms, and there's trophy fish, trophy freshwater drum here as well. They reach about 2.2 kilograms. So this setup in particular would give us a bit of a fight when going after the trophy ones, but for the common ones it's pretty okay. I'll show you guys in a second how I'm fishing with that one. So the hook that I'm using is number 1 right now. You can also choose 1.0, and 2.0 works as well. And as for bait, I'm using redworms. It's something that's available at us on when we start already, and it's also something that Freshwater Drum like very much. If you're at a higher level, excuse me, if you're at a higher level, you can also use shrimps, and crawfish cut works as well. Now for the leader, you have to watch out that you don't set it on max depth, but at 240 centimeters. The freshwater drum is a bottom feeder, but at 250 it's they don't bite as much as on 240 centimeters. So for this, I'm not going to cast. Oh, let's switch rods. I'm not going to cast all the way to 22 meters, but I like to have my float on, say, about 18 meters, and then just let the current drift it to the right. So I'm casting about here. And if I'm not on the spot, I reel into. No. So here I am 18 meters out. And I have to wait for my bobber to steady itself. Yeah, like so. Now, as you can see, on this particular setup as well, I can have my drag set to almost max. So here it's 11 of the 12. And there we had a first nibble. The downside of this is because we're using redworms, that you also catch panfish and bass. So that could also happen. So a white crappie, bluegill again, and then of course the smallmouth bass. So as soon as you reach, I think it's level 13, switch over to shrimps. And on a higher level, crawfish gut, as I said, works too. Now, these fish, as I mentioned with lure, it takes their time to bite on your bait. So it's not like catfish or anything. You really need to be patient with it. At the same time, you need to watch your bobber. So right now I got another small nibble, because the moment that the freshwater drum strikes, it strikes very fast, and you need to be very quickly to reel it in. And this indeed is a freshwater drum. I can tell because the meters on my setup go all the way into orange. And as you can see there as well, you see a silver stripe, so that's your sign that you have a freshwater drum on it. And there we go, another beauty. I really like the look of them. And this is actually 1.5 kilogram, 45 centimeters, and it gives us 27 experience points. So we're going to keep this, and I'm going to show you guys what I have in my net. So here we go. As you can see, this is what I've caught. So I use a spoon, number 1, and I caught a bunch of largemouth bass, and then with the redworms I also caught a bass and a crappie. And then here is our freshwater drum. So I caught 6 in total. Let's sort by weight. Here we go. So 1 kilogram was the smallest, 1.5 kilogram, almost 1.6 kilogram was the biggest. And the rewards go from $13 up till $19. Now for the big freshwater drum, it's about 21, 22, and trophies are about 25, 26 bucks that you get. And experience wise, it's between 18 and 27 experience. And for the bigger freshwater drum, it will be about 29, and then the trophies are around 30, 32, 35 experience points. So that's it's obviously it's nice to have so much experience and money. But as I said, the downside is that you need to wait 9 times out of 10, and it's if you're using a spin casting, you have to like cast 3, 4, 5 times before you even hook one, if it is actually one and if it's not a bass. And with float fishing, it takes a while before they bite, and even then you also have a chance of hooking a bass or a crappie instead, or a bluegill. So that's why not a lot of people fish for the drum when they want to grind for money or for experience, because then for money wise the bass is better, and for experience catfish is much easier to grind the experience points from. But still, it's a very nice fish to go after. Okay, so for the times, sunny days you can start at 5 a.m. in the morning already, and then fish up till about peak hour. The trouble though is that when you reach peak hour, you have that the panfish are more active as well. So you have more chance on hooking a crappie or a shiner or a bluegill than a freshwater drum. So that's why it's better to start right away at 5 a.m. because then the panfish are not as active as they are during peak hours. But you can fish for drum then the entire day. Now on cloudy days, you start about 9 a.m. in the morning, and then fish away through the day to catch the freshwater drum. Sometimes I get bites between 9 and 10, and sometimes my first bite happens between 10 and 11 a.m. on cloudy days. So that's pretty much it. I think I've covered it all. So setup wise, float fishing 240, and redworms or shrimps or crawfish gut. And for floats, it works. Spoons work, narrow spoon work. Shiners, not shiners, sorry. I mean sheds on a jig head. Spinners work as well. Just make sure that you stick with 1.0 and 2.0 at the max. Same for the hook. 2.0 is the maximum. So that's it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you like, subscribe. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. I'll most of time reply to comments. And for now, I wish you guys happy days, tight lines, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.